Um, should I transition? So, little Miss Grumpy says hi. Should I transition? Money. Money is a huge aspect to passing for a lot of us. Some people say, like I've had other like cis girls say to me, well, you were genetically fortunate. I don't know. Like if I showed you a picture of my Gesundheit, if I showed you some boy pictures, I think maybe you would say I wasn't genetically fortunate. So it gets hard. Like I wanted to get all kinds of surgeries done, but looking at the cost in general, like the entire thing, like between imagine the cost of replacing an entire wardrobe. First you have to get the balls to go out there and, pun intended, to get the balls to go out there and buy the clothes. Can you do that, right? Like secondly, then you're looking at things like Botox, which I haven't done, and people came for me because I haven't done it. Botox, fillers, facial reconstruction. Like facial reconstruction is probably at least in the ballpark of 10,000. Bottom surgery is probably in the ballpark of like 20,000, right? So if you're looking at doing two major surgeries, your nose, maybe some other parts of your face, and bottom surgery, you're looking at 30,000, right? I've already sunk into like $3,000 into trying to remove facial hair. I've had some luck with removing hair off the body, and some luck with removing some hair on the face, but on the face it's just this constant battle. Like when will it end? I don't know. I kind of wish the government would do something about it for us here in Canada. In Canada, bottom surgery is covered, but they will not cover anything else. Sometimes breast augmentation is covered for some people if they grow very little. I mean, that's another thing too. I mean, if you're looking at breast augmentation, that's another 5,000. So now the tally is at least 35,000, right? Throw another couple of thousand for clothes, and then you're looking at buying makeup. Like I'm not sure how much money I paid on makeup in my entire life, but probably in the ballpark of at least $500-600 for makeup. Vocal reconstruction, that's at least another 5,000 if you want to go down that route. Or if you want to do vocal lessons, you look, I don't know how much it costs. The cost is probably exponential. And all of these surgeries ultimately help alleviate dysphoria. And dysphoria is brutal. Like it is, there is so much depression and like suicidal ideation that goes along with it. It's not like I like being inclusive, right? I like being inclusive. I don't mind having non-binary people being part of the transgender spectrum of the LGBT because there's strength in numbers. However, at the same point too, we are not non-binary, right? We are not non-binary. We are very binary. Look at some who will just vasculate back and forth. They'll tell you one moment they're man, the next moment they'll tell you they're female, and they'll just keep going back and forth like that. Or they'll tell you they'll be like, well, I'm male, I was born male, but I'm transgender, okay, but I'm a transgender woman. It's like, what are you? Really, what are you? Like, where do you fall there? Like, most of us, I feel like, fall on the aspect of, I'm female, right? And if you don't like it, you can suck a lemon. But, I don't, I like to, like all of these surgeries aren't necessarily vain either. They're there to alleviate dysphoria. Like when the facial hair starts growing back in, I literally want to blow my brains out. And I'm not saying now that because you have facial hair that you must have dysphoria and therefore you must be suicidal. I'm speaking metaphorically. Right? There are trans girls who are like, don't pass, don't care, don't have dysphoria. You know, and I'm kind of like, where did you get that? Because I want some. Take me to your hypnotist, you know. But it just does not. It just not work like that, right? And guys, I mean, our, like, a lot of the time, our lives, our livelihood. Like, if you look at all these trans girls, me too, right? That is their livelihood, right? Their face is their livelihood, right? You know, these are, in terms of acceptance from making friends, you know, it's sad to say, but the more attractive you can be, the more acceptable you are in society. Completely wrong and backwards. Completely wrong and backwards, but there's also the act of trying to accept yourself. So, like, having to look yourself in the mirror and say, like, how much of this can I handle, right? I don't know what the actual cost would be. Like, I think you'd probably be looking at, like, somewhere around 50,000, you know, within, like, the first 5 years or something. And HRT is only going to take you so far. HRT is only going to grow so much breast tissue. Progesterone is only going to take you so far. Progesterone is only going to develop so much, like, body fat in certain areas, you know, like in your face, for example, right? You know, estrogen is only going to grow back so much of your hair line. You know, I mean, that's another thing to consider. Some girls are brave. Some girls, like, just get a wig and make it work. You know, all the power to them. You know, I kind of admire them to be able to do that. Right? But it's like, I don't know that any of us are, when you're younger, like when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and I was like, man, I could do this. Like, I could totally pass as female, given the right circumstances. And then as I got older and started entering into my 20s, you know, I started backing away. Kind of like a second puberty, but yeah, cost. Cost is a major, major issue. You know, in the States, some surgeries are covered under insurance. In Canada, we get the bottom surgery covered, basically, and that's about it. We don't get any other assistance from the government. I really wish the government would step in and help us out with more, because dysphoria is so horrible. Dysphoria and, like doing the bottom and not doing the face is like setting you up for disaster in some ways, right? You know, and you can't just say, well, this is my set of conditions. You know, I'm a transgender. This is my set of conditions. Like, it just does not typically work that way, right? Like, I don't know any girl who transitioned who would not jump at the opportunity to have her face done. Jump at the opportunity to access something to make her pass better and make her life easier.